Hello there, vinyl community and YouTube. It feels like it was an eternity since I did a year celebration. I've been counting and checking it. It was almost around 4 months ago that I did a year celebration the last time, so I thought it was a good idea to do another one. The problem is that I chose one of the hardest year to do a celebration of. I'm going to take you back to 1992, the year when I graduated from high school, gymnasium, and personally it was a very interesting year for me. However, when it comes to musically, it was a so-so year, with a lot of songs that wasn't all that bad, but they were just uninteresting and were okay, pretty good, in here, out here, nothing to remember, a lot of songs like that, and I had a lot of problem finding something to show, because 1992, as I said, songs that I didn't care about. Of course, I didn't buy the records of them, but it also was a year when I did the most of copying cassette copies, borrowing the records from others and copying them on cassettes. 92, I think, was the peak of that thing. So many of the albums from 92 I have on a cassette copy, and I feel I don't want to show that. So not all that much full-length album as I want to. So let's hope you can bear with that. But it's a little show of stuff from 1992 that I think were great then, and that have grown on me right now, or something like that. So let's start with the usual that I have all the times. Start with singles, my tradition of Madonna, who is on each and every year. Might say also that now when I'm going to start with the singles, there are so many singles and songs that I thought I had, but obviously I don't, that I wanted to show. And one of them is This Used to Be My Playground, that I thought I had, but obviously I don't. But instead I can show Erotica, and I can show Erotica. I have the cassette of Madonna's Erotica album. I think Erotica was not a bad album. It is maybe a little this sex thing is a little bit of stupid, but it's so great melody, it's so great produced, and magnificent production by Shamen. You have other great songs here. I mean, I like Deeper and Deeper, one of the most best songs that she made. Bad Girl, we have Rain, and other great, actually a great album, very underrated. Coming to some songs that were very, very, very big in 1992, but that I maybe feel is a little bit overplayed today. Mr. Big, To Be With You, one of the biggest hits in Sweden. I thought it was an okay song by then, not my favorite, but okay song. Today I feel like, no, not again. But I have the single mostly for nostalgia. The same, not just the same, but in same category, Inner Circle, and this year's summer tune, Sweat, a la 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 long, a la 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 long, 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 long. We have the Swedish hit chart during the summertime in 1992 called Sommartoppen. who traveled around Sweden and the different places in Sweden, and where people could vote for the best songs in the top 10 chart. And I think every week, with exception from one, Inner Circle with Sweat were #1. And not a bad song, but a bit overplayed. Another big, huge hit from that year, maybe a little overplayed, but I think this one might be at least quality better than the previous ones, with Mr. Big and Inner Circle. From Denmark, Michael Learns to Rock and The Actor. A very nice ballad, as I said, a little bit overplayed, but still a song that I heard very much during my graduation from Gymnasium High School. So huge memories with that. And at the same time, this was also a big hit, cult dance classic, Snap with Rhythm is a Dancer. Going to some autumn hits. Tasmin Archer, might call her a true one-hit wonder, at least here in Sweden. This song, Sleeping Satellite. I remember I've heard a second single, the follow-up single from this one. I don't remember what the title was, but I remember thinking that it was very much more uninteresting. Sleeping Satellite is an interesting song. It's a great song, no doubt about it. Maybe not the best song, but a great song. Now, a very huge favorite of mine in the autumn of '92. I was hoping to be able to show the entire album of this, from this song is from, but I only have it on cassette copy so far. Toto, Don't Chain My Heart. I loved this song back in 1992. The Toto fan I was and am. Back a few months. This one was also a huge favorite of mine, much because it's exciting production, a very exciting song, an exciting subject also, very exciting lyrics. Richard Marx, Hazard. Also have the album Paid Vacations on a cassette copy. This one I showed just recently. It was my favorite George Michael single in my George Michael tribute chart recently. Too Funky, a really awesome funky song with that piano riff in the intro that really sets the tone for the song. Really great song. And back to summer. This one was a great favorite of mine. Also from an album that I wanted to show, that I thought I had, but I don't have it. But I want to have it. Crowded House, Woodface. Crowded House made the Weather With You, maybe the biggest hit here in Sweden. Maybe after Don't Leave Me Sober, maybe, but it was a pretty good hit here in Sweden. And when during the autumn and when the '92 were about to end, out came a couple of boy band, and I said before, I'm not a fan of boy bands, but there are always some exceptions. I mentioned in my Fredriksson video, take that. The first album from this band I really thought was a good one. But then after the songs after that all went downhill. I'm talking about East 17, and I really liked the song House of Love, still do, and even more I love the song Gold, much because that East 17 had such a great sense of mixing pop with really great dance track, really awesome dance production that I truly loved. I really liked E17's first singles, these two and the third single, Deep. You remember Alphaville back in the 80s, Forever Young album? That is still one of my favorite albums ever in music history. In 1992 they released a collection called First Harvest, I think, and with all their hits. To spice this collection up, they made a remake of their first song, Big in Japan, and put a really interesting techno beat in the background of it, and called it Big in Japan 92 AD. Now this is a song that many today considers a joke besides the original one, but I still think that this actually is a great dance track. I love the production, maybe not that much melodies, most the production and Marion Gold saying the title every now and then, but still I love the production of this one, so I stand with the fact that I actually like Alphaville's remake of Big in Japan. Here is a girl that had success with a couple of hits, small success with a couple of hits, but today is totally forgotten. Not Betty Boop, but Betty Boo. Started her career in the British band Beatmasters. Who's in the house? Who's in the house? And she went solo and did some bubblegum rap songs. And this one, Let Me Take You There, is very cute and charming little pop song that is truly forgotten today. I really like the production of this one. 1991 was the year of KLF, and now they thought it was time to call it a quit. So 92 was the year when KLF left the music business with a really bang. They used toy machine guns and used it on the I think it was the Grammy Awards in UK. Really odd way to say goodbye to fans, but they released also a great single as a final one, a remake of their first song, What Time Is Love, called America What Time Is Love, with vocal by Glenn Hughes, and really weird and crazy song, but so fantastic produced. Really like this song very much. A couple of CD singles. In 1992 was the year when they spoke most of that the vinyl is dead, CD will take over. At least here in Sweden, it was the year when they talked most about that. And 15 years later, it's almost the opposite. Who would imagine that? And 1992 was also the year when we saw a meeting of maybe some of the best bands ever. We're talking about New Order, Pet Shop Boys, and the Smiths. New Order, Bernard Sumner, the Smiths, Johnny Marr, and as vocal they had Neil Tennant from Pet Shop Boys. And they released this song, Disappointed, that I really fell in love with the first time I heard it, because it was so fantastic made. It could have been done as a Pet Shop Boys single. It sounds very much Pet Shop Boys of it, but really great song that sadly enough is totally forgotten today, but really beautiful pop hit. And we have a few full-length albums. The first one on cassette, Swedish music, Marie Fredriksson from Roxette, who released the album Den ständiga resan, The Eternal Travel, and this album is not the happiest album that she released. She was a little bit in a down mood this year, and this album is a little melancholic and a little sad album with sad lyrics, but still a fantastic, great Swedish pop rock album. It's sung in Swedish though, but really fantastic lyrics and great produced. Techno music. 92 also was the debut year of U96, when he took the theme from a movie and made a techno version of it, Das Boot. I thought I had a single, but I don't, but I have the album, Das Boot, and maybe not as easy listened to as his later albums. It contains a lot of, for its time, trendy rave and techno style, but really, really interesting and well made. Swedish music again. I'm a huge fan of Swedish band One More Time and Nanne Grönvall, and they debut here, Highland, and the title track was a huge hit during the autumn. And here we have Peter Grönvall, the son of Abba Benny, and Nanne Grönvall, of course, is the daughter-in-law of Abba Benny. Really great album with both great pop music combined with some folk music style. 1992, when we're talking about weird artists. It's a lot of weird music in 92 also, along with this little mainstream, pretty boring music. And one of the most strange act was from Britain, called the Shamen. Now the Shamen, for those of you who haven't heard of them, was a group that did some very great dance production, very great dance music, but the lyrics were a little bit strange and heavily discussed. The people were discussing them because they were rumored and later confessed by the band itself that some of them, and most notably Ebeneezer Good, one of the biggest hits, were actually a song about drugs. And might say what you want, not bad, not good lyrics, of course, but man, what a great production, a great dance music from England. So I really liked and still like the production, but of course I don't like the motive behind the songs. But and 1992, finally Annie Lennox from Eurythmics showed her face again in the music business and released this album Diva. Actually a great album that I bought last year, I think, and actually a great album, better than I could expect. Even though Why, the first single, I think is a bit boring. Very much uninteresting first single, but Walking on Broken Glass, Precious, Little Bird, all great songs. So this is actually a really good album. Maybe, in my opinion, Annie Lennox's best album as a solo artist. One of my absolute favorite albums, Swedish Lisa Nilsson with Himlen, runt hörnet. Always been a huge fan of Lisa Nilsson's voice. She has such a great soul-y voice, and here with the production and music and lyrics by Maurice Kock and Johan Ekelund from the group Ratata. Really great album. And finally, the soul fan JorgenS, who just were newly in love with soul music, was very happy when Shanice came with I Love Your Smile. And this is her album Inner Child. And she's kind of cute also. Really great Motown release, produced by Narada Michael Walden. And I usually also says which kind of song that were the biggest selling hit in Sweden. And for once I can actually show it. And it is a song that I actually do like. Or song, it is an EP that was the best selling single in Sweden. From what I have been found out when I've been doing my research anyway. And of course, as a synth pop fan, I had to be really, really happy when Erasure topped the chart for nearly 2 months with their ABBA-esque. Their covers of ABBA songs. Lay All Your Love on Me, SOS, Take a Chance on Me, who were the summer hit from this EP, and Voulez-Vous. And really nostalgic one from the summer of 1992. I heard it over and over and loved it, and I still love this EP very, very much. So this was the most selling single in Sweden in 1992. So that was my 1992, the one that I can show actually. Not the best year maybe, but there were some really good songs and albums also there. I feel like 92 was a little bit in the middle of something new. It was pre-something new that came in the later 90s, and the 80s style had been ended, so it was a little bit identity crisis, I feel, 92. And someone might ask, what about Nirvana? They were big in 92. Yes, they were. And now I mentioned them, and that is the only time I will mention them here. Not my favorite band, but yes, they were part of 92. So the next time I'm coming back is during the weekend, because I have a vinyl and CD update for January to do, and then I will do my 70s chart and my from 10 to 1, 10 from 1, the 70s, best songs from 70s. So until next time, I hope that each and every one of you have a really great time. Take care everyone, and so long.